it to trial. Take it to trial. Welcome in, grab a seat, hit the like and subscribe. Cause Sweet Peas on the mic with that spicy little vibe. Got the courtroom streaming in the chat, going wild. We're debating heavy topics, but still laughing like a child. From objections to confessions to the judge's side eye. If it's justice and it's messy, we gon' talk about why. Every day's a new case, every moment's a ride. And when Sweet Peas in the building, we be learning with pride. Minds on deck, keep the room running smooth. Film freak therapist, you know, keeping everyone in the groove. Like to with the facts, pretty brown girl with the sass. Murdaugh and Fowler keep the peace in the chat. But Jason walks in and the ladies collapse. Chocolate, take it to trial, where the truth gets loud and the laughs run wild. Sweet Peas got the spice, she's the queen of the aisle. Chat fam rolling deep, we've been here a while. Lights on, mics up, we gon' do this right. Take it to trial, every day, every night. Take it to trial. Morning shows are sharp, afternoon is on fire. And we catch every moment that the court might inspire. From witnesses whispering, the lawyers trying to hard. You know Sweet Pea breaks it down like a legal tarot card. Chats cracking jokes, dropping theories on the fly. We're serious when it counts, but we still testify. Minds hold it down when the trolls try to play. If you're out of line, court adjourned for the day. But when Jason logs in with that deep hello sound, the ladies in the chat, man, they all fall down. Take it, 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 take it to trial, where the truth gets loud and the laughs run wild. Sweet Peas got the spice, she's the queen of the aisle. Chat fam rolling deep, we've been here a while. Lights on, mics up, we gon' do this right. Take it to trial, every day, every night. Take it to trial. When the sun goes down and the cases get deep, after dark gets spicy, no secrets to keep. Taboo topics, big laugh, slap, happy crew. Sweet Pea says behave, but we never really do. It's opinions, confessions, stories untold, but we handle it with heart like the chat made of gold. Take it to trial, from day to night and every wild mile. Sweet Peas kneeling strong with her trademark style, and the fam in the chat always makes it worthwhile. Turn it up, show some love, hit the like on sight. Take it to trial, yeah, we live tonight. Take it to trial, yeah, we live tonight. Take it to trial. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Junkie on the freeway, white claw in the brakes. 2 hours there, 2 back, still typing with ease. LA lanes locked, but she don't slow down. Show up every time, yeah, she runs this town. Sitting in the traffic, but she locked in chat. If Sweet Pea goes live, yeah, she's right on that. From the 405 to wherever we at. Junkie pulling up like y'all good, I'm back. Different time zones, same front row seats. No matter where we are, we all meet in the feed. We the California's rolling deep on 9. 4 corners, one crew, yeah, the vibes align. From the coast to the chat, yeah, we show up right. If you lost downstream, we gon' guide you like Californians. Yeah, yeah, we stay in the mix. 4 names, 1 flame, you can't remix this.
SD rolling with the sunset glow. West Coast haze where the good vibes flow. Little bit lifted, yeah, she stays serene. Ocean breeze mixed with the evergreen. Late to the stream, but she still gon' slide. Panel opens up, she already inside. Hold up, I'm here, yeah, she dropping bars. Calm, cool energy, no matter how far.
She got that FOMO, scrolling every stream. Little lost downstream, but she part of the team. New to the crew, but she locked in fast. Super chats flying, yeah, she built to last. Wait, where we at? But we got her back. Point her to the right stream, never off track. Now she vibing with us, no need to roam. Anywhere we at, yes, Susie home.
Shamrock, yeah, Shamrock checking in from across the map. Different time zone, but she bridging the gap. Y'all good every time, yeah, she mean that. Heart so big you can't teach that. Algorithm running, she keep it alive. Dropping love in the chat, keep the whole thing thrive. Quiet power, steady hand in the dark. Every stream glowing got a Shamrock spark.
Yeah, yeah. Junkie, 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 junkie.
Susie, Shamrock, Shamrock.
Junkie, show up every stream, yeah, we never think twice. From the traffic jams to the ocean tide, from the lost links to the worldwide ride, Californians, yeah, 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 we stay in the mix, 4 names, 1 flame, can't remix this. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh. Californians, Californians, yeah. Let's go! Oh, let's go!
Oh, I'm just sitting up here talking. Don't mind me. I was just sitting up here talking the whole time. I'm glad somebody said, "Where are you?" I was having a whole conversation with myself. I didn't add myself up here. I guess I got to add myself if I want to talk to you guys and I actually want you to hear me. So I was just saying that I don't know what the heck going on today. You know, it's Monday. All our trials, everybody was found guilty Friday. Shit. Did nobody want to work over the weekend? So what everybody was found guilty on Friday. So we got to start a fresh new batch of convicts this week, or potential convicts, I should say. So what we are waiting for. What we are waiting for now is I am trying to see in Virginia with Dr. Ebony Parker. I think they are doing jury selection this morning. So maybe we may have opening statements this afternoon. We are keeping our eye on another trial that's headed out of California with Carlos Dominguez, aka a whole bunch of other stuff, a whole bunch of other names, but I'm not about to get into that. So we're going to keep our eye out on that. But I think the Ebony one is supposed to happen. I think they're in jury selection. So we should be good with that one later on this afternoon. But I figure into the meantime, between time, we got other stuff that we can take care of where we can look at Alex Murdaugh Day 4, courtesy of the Trial Channel. Guys, if you have not checked the Trial Channel out, her link is in the description box. I also pinned it to the top of the chat if you want to go over here. It's like the archive So any trials that we are watching, she has especially when we're doing rewatches, guys, like she has them broken down by witnesses. So if you needed to go to a specific witness, you just go on her channel, her page, and go right down and she to her playlist, and she has the witness, the date, and everything, and it's broken down. It's so nice and neatly. If it needs any audio enhancement, she is the one to do it. So it's definitely there. Let's see here. I'm assuming okay. Can you can hear me now, right, Marilda? I don't know. I hope so. I hope I ain't talking to myself all this time again. I did the first time. I was so talking to myself. Put a 1 in the chat if you were able to hear me. Oh gosh, I hope I wasn't talking to myself. I don't think I can repeat it 3 times. We may have to just start without me. Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say we're gonna have to just start without me. Okay. So let's do this. We are in day 4. You know, our witness that we had on the stand from the yesterday is going to be, I was about to say Friday, like we took the weekend off. No, that's not the case. Is back on the stand. She is going to be on cross-examination. Let's start off with our welcomes in to the chat, and then we'll get in there. If you see anything, only because I don't see everything, guys. I will be honest with you. But if you see anything, any trials, or hear anything that you think is worth us taking a look at, definitely let me know. Right now, like I went to all the major channels and nothing. Sometimes this is how we find a diamond in the rough trial. I found a lot of my cases in Detroit that we covered, like DeAndre Booker, London, her case. I found those like when we were going through like spells like this where they didn't have nothing for us to watch on the major channels. But I've been trying to check and make sure that Detroit doesn't come up with anything for me, because they typically have some. So we shall see. Good morning, Christine. Hey, Merelda. Hey, Susie. Hey, lady. Hey, Gabber. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody had a great evening. Hey, Tanya, or a great weekend. How are you? Oh, thank you, Merelda, for putting that in there. I appreciate it. So we are going to get into our coverage. In the meantime, between time, I will be behind the scenes trying to figure out exactly what is going to be our move for the week. I mean, I don't mind winging it, but I really want us to be, I don't want to take on a trial that we don't want to take on, waiting for another trial, and then the trial that we wanted to see comes up, and then we caught into 2, 3, 4 trials at one time, because that's what we end up doing half the time. I be waiting on one trial, it don't start up, so we immediately start something else, and it's really not the one that we really, really wanted to start, but we be in it, so then we just keep doing it. So hopefully, everything works out where we can at least get opening statements for our criminal trial against Dr. Ebony Parker. She's facing 8 counts, 8 felony counts. The strange, and we'll get more into her stuff once we get over there. On these administrators and people that's being involved, like they buckling down. Like we seen Colin, with his son. We seen in Detroit with the Crumblies. Like people are starting to be held responsible, and this one is even going past where we gonna hold the parents responsible, because the parent did go to jail. And we're gonna hold the administrator responsible. But I think that there's a lot of people that could be at fault for this one. But that's just my opinion. She's the only person be in charge. All right, guys, here we go.
calling you Ms. Worley, do you have a rank,
I'm a senior criminalist.
but not lieutenant or captain or
No.
senior?
Criminalist.
And what is a criminalist? Criminalist.
I'm in the lab, basically.
I'm sorry,
I'm based in the lab, the forensic lab.
but you went out to this crime scene.
I did, yes.
Do you normally go out to crime scenes?
At that time, yes, I was a special agent.
You were what?
I was a special agent at the time that I worked this, yes.
And a special agent is, what's so special about the special agent?
That's what SLED agents are referred to as.
Okay. Thank you for some indulgence. One moment. Talk a little bit about what you did on this case. I'm going to try not to repeat a lot of the testimony from our scintillating Friday afternoon together. When did you first go to the scene?
I responded as soon as I got the phone call at 10:33 p.m. I got on the road from my house within 30 minutes and arrived on scene at 12:07 a.m.
12:07 a.m.
Yes.
Now, when you got there, the Carlton County Sheriff's Department, were they supposed to process the scene?
No,
That what they were supposed to do?
security.
Secure it so nobody could walk over things and nobody could in any way disturb trace evidence, forensic evidence. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you got there, did you determine they had done more than just secure the scene?
They had marked some evidence that they had found before we got there.
And you also found, for instance, that we've shown you videos that they actually, some of them, or at least one of them, if not two of them, walked into the feed room where Paul was killed, correct?
Someone did to place a marker 1 in this.
I'm sorry?
Someone had walked in there to place marker 1.
And matter of fact, when you did your footwear impression examination, you found that there was a bloody footprint caused by one of the officers. Isn't that right?
After we had started processing the scene, yes.
Yes, but I mean, one of the bloody footprints in that feed room was not Paul, not the perpetrator. It was a police officer,
Yes.
probably a Carlton County police officer.
I don't know that for sure.
Who else could it be?
It could have been one of us from SLED.
Yours?
I don't think it was mine, but it could have been from SLED. I don't know.
It could have been SLED, could have been Carlton County, could have been the coroner.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, and in your business, there are rules about who should be walking through crime scenes, right?
Preferably as few people as possible. If you don't need to be in there, then you shouldn't be in there.
And when they like went around and pulled the sheet up, they were walking in an area where most likely the perpetrator had walked, correct?
Possibly, yes.
I mean, that's right outside the feed room.
Right.
And those shell casings that were near, or some of them were near, some of them were further away from Maggie's body, walking in the dark increases the probability that some trace evidence has been disturbed or destroyed.
That's probably why they went ahead and marked evidence before we got there, because they found it and went ahead and marked it so that it wouldn't be disturbed.
But couldn't they just stood back and said, there's shell casings in there. So when you got there, you would have been, maybe you would have even waited till the next morning when you had some light, right?
No, we would have started like we did as soon as we got on scene.
Okay. Well, you did some measurements,
Yes.
and those measurements are recorded on a sketch you did,
Yes.
not to scale.
Right.
And make sure that's my, yeah, that's my stuff. Okay. These are all the exhibits, state and defense? Where are the state exhibits? Okay. Okay, so let's look at
Mr. Harpootlian, do you need more time before proceeding?
well,
Well, do you need more time?
no, sir, I'm ready. Let me see if she can identify this. Can you tell me what that is, please?
This is my final crime scene diagram.
Okay, and you did it.
I did.
You can identify it.
Yes.
Your Honor, we would offer this documented evidence, please. It's her crime scene.
What number would that be for the defense?
4.
Any objection?
No.
Submitted without objection.
Okay, so can you put Worley number 1 up, please? Okay, and you can see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
And that is what I just showed you, right?
Yes, sir.
And what's important to note at the outset is this is not to scale, correct?
We never do our diagrams to scale now.
Okay, but it does tell us some things.
Yes,
You found a projectile that went through the doghouse,
that's right.
and you found a projectile that went through the small animal cage.
We didn't locate that projectile, but one
But
did go
you had
through.
an entrance and exit wound.
Yes, that's right.
And now these yellow items over here near Maggie's body, those represent blackout projected shells.
Yes, those are the evidence markers marking 300 blackout.
Okay, and did you take measurements of where those were compared to anything else? And for instance, we see a 23.9 between this post and that post. Did you do anything like that for the projectiles?
I don't believe I did the doghouse because it was inside the bedding of the doghouse.
I'm sorry, what now?
We didn't measure the projectile that was in the dog
No,
bed.
no, I'm talking about these yellow.
Yes,
Okay, did you measure where they were?
yes.
And there are measurements somewhere?
I believe on the second page of the second page of my diagram should be the measurements.
Let me go to page 2. Do you have your report with you?
I do.
Do you have that? Page 2? I want to make sure I'm referring to the right one. Page 2 of 8, right? Okay, and when it says you've measured them RP1, RP2, what does that mean?
That's reference point. So this corner of the feed room was reference point 1. This column was reference point 2, and this column was reference point 3.
Okay, can you find page 2 for me, please? Is that what we were just looking at?
Yes,
And are these your calculations?
they are.
And this is what you recorded?
Yes.
Any objection? I'm sorry? No objection, okay. Your Honor, I'd like to offer this into evidence. I think it's defense 5.
Submitted.
We'll go back and look at that again in a minute. And so, could I have Roy number 1 up? Okay, so you located these shell casings, right?
Right.
You did measurements of how far the small animal cage was from a reference point.
Yes.
And how far what was the reference point for the doghouse?
I'm not sure that I measured the doghouse to a reference point.
You did not measure the doghouse.
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's get a little more. Could you put KNW 1644 up, please? Can you tell me what this is a photo of?
It's the doghouse.
Well, and but did you make this or was this done under your supervision?
Yes.
Yeah, Your Honor, we'd offer this into evidence.
No, yeah.
Number 6.
Submitted.
So to give the jury some sense of, and your sketch, I'm not saying your sketch is bad, it's not scale though, and to give them some idea of the layout. This is the doghouse,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, that's right.
This is what you call the small animal cage right here.
Right.
And that's off the ground,
It has legs. Yes.
legs, right? The doghouse has got like a couple of 2x4s under it, so it's not laying directly on the ground, correct?
Yeah, I think that's
And
right.
then if we look over to the right, that would be the door to the feed room where Paul was shot and killed,
That's right.
right?
Yes.
So we're all singing from the same sheet of music here. There's the small animal calling it quail, but it's not. Is it quail? Quail. They apparently kept quail in. And then there's the doghouse, and then there's the door to the feed room. Did you do any measurements, or can you give us any, if you're standing at the quail pen right over here, and you're looking at a 90-degree angle, that is out in front of you, am I right on that 90 degree?
Okay.
Are you looking at the door to the feed room, or is it to the right or to the left? Well, let me ask you this. Did you take any measurements?
Not directly from the cage to the door, no.
Can you tell me what is it, a 10 degree this way, 10 degree that way? I mean,
I'll have to look at the photographs. If any of the photographs show from the door to that animal cage or the animal cage to the door, you could see if it was at an angle or not, but
you didn't take any measurements when you were on, when were you on the scene doing these measurements?
my initial measurements were the night of the incident. And then that picture was taken July 16th when we went back to take additional measurements.
And it was after July 16th, you generated the sketch we saw a moment ago.
No, I think I did this before we went back to the scene on the 16th.
So nothing changed in your sketch.
No,
And to your knowledge, you never took any sort of directional examination of the reference points, for instance, the dog pen and the door to the feed room, or from the quail cage to the door of the feed room, correct?
that's right.
Okay, now, do you know what, hold on one second. Do we have Pharaoh? Do we have Pharaoh? No?
Yes.
Yes, okay. What's Pharaoh? Tell the jury what Pharaoh is.
Pharaoh is a 3D laser scanner that we use to document the scenes.
Okay,
It takes
did you use a Pharaoh scanner on this scene?
on the July 16th we did. We couldn't the night of the incident because it was raining.
So tell us how one scans for a Pharaoh. And by the way, is the end result of that Pharaoh process a three-dimensional view of the scene?
Yes, that's right.
And so that you can manipulate it, turn it, examine it in any direction you want, correct?
Yes.
And you had that done in this case.
Yes.
I did not hear the Attorney General ask you about it in your direct. Was it brought here to the courtroom?
I believe it's here, yes.
It's here. Okay, well, I have a copy of what you furnished to us. Any objection to this coming into evidence?
No objection.
All right, can you play that for me? Wait 1 second. Does Pharaoh stand for something, or is it a brand name like Coca-Cola or Cialis or?
It's a brand name. I think it does stand for something. I'm not sure what. We just always call
But
it
it's a
Pharaoh.
brand. When somebody says Pharaoh, it's not, there's a specific commercial product called Pharaoh that law enforcement uses, and other folks use too, right?
Yes.
Okay, how about play that for me, and I may stop it from time to time.
All right, I believe a juror raised his hand, Your Honor.
Yes. For that box to be moved to another location so I can see that.
Yeah, I thought we. Oh, God. Okay, start it and then stop it. Go ahead. Now stop it briefly. Is this a drone video
No, it's created by the Pharaoh software.
created by Pharaoh software? Okay, go ahead. Stop it again. That would be right down here. That would be the dog house, right?
Right.
Okay, keep going. Okay, stop right there. Now, we're seeing the inside of, what is this room called?
I refer to it as a workshop.
Work, okay. And the bullet that went into the quail cage, went through the quail cage and came out this wall, right?
That's right.
Okay, go ahead. Again, stop it 1 second. Sure, look this straight on. And the quality of this isn't very good. Why is that?
I'm not really sure.
But I mean, isn't there a final product you get from this?
I'm not sure if there's something more final than, I don't do the rendering of the software, so I'm not sure if there's something more than that.
Keep going. Okay, stop. That's the quail cage right over here, correct?
That's right.
Right here. Okay, go ahead. That would be the doghouse.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going. Stop it, please. Now, the bullet hole into the doghouse is on the side facing this greenery, or is it on this side over here?
It's on the other side.
On the other side. So there's a bullet hole that comes in here on this side.
Right. The kennel side. Yes.
What now?
The side that the kennels are on.
No, the kennel's back this way, right?
Yeah, but it's on that. If you're looking at the front of the doghouse.
Okay, right. So it's coming in here,
Yes.
and where's it exiting?
It goes into the doghouse there was a dog bed in the doghouse. It goes in there.
Okay, keep going.
Wait a minute, I had to pause this. Sorry about that. Christian, wait a minute. I've been looking for it. I've been trying to see if they was gonna do if they had did jury selection or not. Where is it? What channel is it being streamed on? Is it the local news? That's the reason why we watching Alex Murdaugh today, because I thought that they was probably picking a jury this morning. Take it to trial with 2 L's at gmail.com. Yeah, because I can do this Alex Murdaugh stuff another day. I think that's it. Should I? Yeah, that's my email. But I mean, yeah, because that's the trial that I wanted to see. I can't remember what I put for the Discord link for the email. Sorry, guys. Give me a second, because if this is yeah, because if this case is started, that case, then that's what case I would like to watch during the week. A live case. $13 new. Okay, thank you. Real happy. Let me see if I can get to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. $13 news now. Yep, I see it. Okay. Okay, so let me ask y'all this. When I'm looking at 13 now, they still going through the jury selection, correct? So they haven't seated a jury. Okay, they streaming 30 minutes behind. You must have I didn't get it, Christian. You must have didn't it gotta have it has to have the two L's on the end. Okay, so 30 minutes behind. So let me see. Okay. Okay, guys. Yeah, I apologize for everybody. I got it. Okay, good. Okay, good. Guys, I apologize for those that we was coming over here to watch this. I am going to actually get a room set up so we can go in here and watch this trial. Yeah, I thought they were still doing jury selection. Yeah, I wonder. Let me see. Let me make sure it didn't go to my junk. I know a lot of people send yeah, if you only put one L, I don't know who I know that the one they'll take it to trial with one L, they be getting all the emails. It look like they kind of showing their jury selection process too. Well, not the process like that, but because I see they was asking her some questions. Wait a minute. Oh, they doing the chart. That was the charges. I shoot. She already okay. Okay, cool. Okay, well, guys, if y'all can let me know when the jury has been seated, that would be awesome, and then we'll go over there. I don't think I need to see that part of it. I just don't want to miss opening statements or anything. And we'll continue on here until that. I'll have it up on my screen, but just in case I miss it. Interesting. Okay, thank you. Yep, I got it. Yeah, as soon as we get more information in regards to the jury being seated, then we'll go and start covering it. Okay, thank you.
So as we watch it come around, you would agree with me that the doghouse is not perpendicular to the door to the feed room, correct?
Right.
Okay, keep going. And that would be, that would be the feed room right here, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And these are the dog kennels up here.
Right.
Okay, keep going. So you can see that's like a chicken coop right there.
I believe so.
Okay, keep going. And that's looking at a structure that's back probably 150, 200 feet away from the kennels, right?
Yes.
It's got farm equipment in it.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. So we have, and you could take this and convert it into, well, let me ask you this. Do you know how they do this?
On scene, we take scans with the scanner. Anything the laser touches, it records. Beyond that,
Well, there's a laser touch, and then isn't there a camera that goes 360 degrees this way and 360 degrees this way? And the laser and the camera sync up. And you do a number of them.
yes,
Maybe 100 or so. And
Not-
then it knits it together
that's right.
to get this.
Yes.
But you agree with me that you could do a much more focused look. This obviously has not been converted totally to 3D, has it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Who ordered this? Who said we need this?
I'm not really sure. I was told to go to the scene and additional documentation, and that's what we did. So I'm not sure.
So, I mean, if I told you your chain of custody on this indicates it was, y'all received it sometime in July or August of last year, and it's been in the custody of SWED since early January, probably 3 weeks ago. Is that correct?
I'm not sure when it was made, but
But it wasn't turned over or pulled out of the evidence locker until 3 weeks ago, correct?
I'm really not sure.
Okay. Now, let me ask you to look at that report of the sketches, right?
Mhm.
Well, let me do this first. Let me ask you to examine these photos and see if you can identify them.
Yes.
Okay. What are they?
Those are photographs that we took when we returned on July 16th.
And these are specifically photographs of the doghouse.
Yes.
And I'll get to these in just a minute. Let me also show you this photograph and see if you can identify it.
Yes.
What is that?
It's a picture when we were trying to determine the angle of that defect in the doghouse.
The defect would be the bullet hole.
Yes, sir.
Offer this into evidence is number 11, without objection. 11? Right? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have you go to the jury room for a break. Please do not discuss the case. I'm going to give you all an opportunity to review and pre-mark exhibits, determine what you agree on and do not agree on, and we'll proceed in a few minutes. Do y'all want to introduce any exhibits without objections?
I think one of the, no objection.
No objection, Don.
What are the exhibit numbers?
So Jan, give us 1 minute. She's still marking.
Yeah.
The jury is present.
Thank you. Exhibit numbers.
9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
We're all admitted without objection.
So, you took measurements, for instance, let me show you the picture I want to show you to begin with, which is, of the quail, cage. Let me, first of all, show you exhibit number 20, which is Worley, page 7. If you could put that up on the screen. You recognize that?
I do.
And what is that?
It's one of the diagrams that I created,
And what's it a diagram of?
that quail cage.
Okay. Now, you did that sketch, and that sketch shows defect interior side of cage, defect interior side wall of cage, and defect interior back wall of cage, right?
Right,
So you have an entrance and an exit hole, correct?
that's right.
Now, what did you do to try to determine the trajectory on that? Where did it come from?
We placed a flight path rod through defect J all the way through to where it went through the back wall of the cage.
Let me see. I know I have a picture of that. Is that a picture of that rod?
It's one of the many pictures, yes.
No, but I mean, does that picture accurately depict the rod you put through, but from the exterior to the interior?
Yes.
Okay. How about put that up, please? It would be 2019. And so you're telling the jury that this is a rod that you ran from from the entrance hole to the exit hole. And what are you doing right here?
That's where we're determining the angle.
Upward or downward angle?
That's right.
Okay, now let's talk about how you determined the angle of front to back. I don't know what you call that scientifically. I mean, did you determine the angle of that rod as to the exterior wall of that?
Yes.
Okay. And based on the exhibit we saw a moment ago, the entrance wound would have been on the, how about go back to Worley, page 7. The entrance would have been on this side, correct?
Yes.
Now, the feed room, you would agree with me, is not on that side of the quail cage, correct?
That's right.
Matter of fact, this side faces the feed room, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Now, did you determine, and I can walk through all the technical things you did, but did you only determine the angle, you can check your notes, the angle of the entrance hole over here to that side? That is, is that horizontal? Am I talking horizontal?
Yes.
Okay, the horizontal entrance and exit wound, if you put that rod through it, what did it tell you about the angle as opposed to that flat area?
We determined it was approximately 41 degrees.
41 degrees. And if I'm standing at that edge, is it 41 degrees to my right or my left?
I believe to the right. I'm not sure though.
Can you look and see?
I don't have that in my notes.
Okay, let me show you a picture. It's worth 1,000 words. Just help refresh your memory.
Yes.
And so, let me Could you put KNWL 2019 up, please? Okay, what you did was, correct me if I'm wrong, you put that rod through, and then you put a protractor up against it, and then the protractor told you it was 41 degrees from flat, or I don't know.
From the, where the bullet went in the wall, from that flat edge to where the angle is was 41 degrees.
Okay, and let me show you KNWL 2007. Strike that. I don't need it. Well, that's it. But that depicts that rod you put from the exterior through the interior, right?
That's right.
And so as that rod sticks out, it would be the path of the bullet.
Approximately, yes.
Approximately. Okay. And it's 41 degrees from neutral.
Yes.
If this were the wall of the wall the bullet went into, it would be 41 degrees would be over here.
Yes.
Right. So that side. Right. Okay. And I see from that picture we showed a moment ago, you used a protractor, just like this one, or maybe similar to this one, to determine that angle, right?
That's right.
And basically you just take the rod and then you put this up to it and then figure out what the angle is, right?
You line up the middle of the protractor on where the defect is, yes.
Where the bullet hole is.
Right.
Okay. Now, did you do the same thing for the dog pen, a dog house?
Yes, we did.
And let me walk you through a couple of those pictures. Okay. Let's go to page 6 of 8 of her report. Is that something you prepared?
It is.
Okay. So if we look at this, could you zoom in just a little bit for me, please? And here we go. So defect 1 is the entrance hole.
It's defect I, yes.
I'm sorry.
Defect I.
Okay. And defect H is what?
We weren't sure if it was a defect. It didn't go through the wall, but we marked it.
Did you have anything that went all the way through?
Just I.
Just I. But you also stuck a rod in that, correct?
Yes, we did.
And what was the dog, this side of the doghouse would be the side facing the kennels?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the entrance angle on that? You put a rod through and measured, just like you did before, with a protractor. And what was the angle on that?
The horizontal angle was approximately 84 degrees.
So 84 degrees. Now the side the bullet went in was facing the dog pens.
Yes.
And as we see from the photos, approximately, again, it's just guesswork, but not square with the dog pens, a little bit further to, if you're standing in the feed room, if you're looking at the dog house, it would be a little bit to your left, correct?
That's right.
And then this trajectory into the doghouse is 84 degrees, which means it's coming, if that's the feed room, it's coming from even further over here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let me have you do this for me. If I had a sketch, your sketch of the doghouse and the quail cage, you could take that protractor right there and basically show the line out, correct?
From the quail cage to the doghouse?
No, from the quail cage, the trajectory, if I put down that protractor on the side where the bullet went in, it's pretty easy to identify in your sketch.
Right.
And went to, what was the first one? How many degrees? I'm sorry, I can't remember it either.
Was 41 degrees. 41 degrees.
41 degrees on your sketch. You could follow the trajectory of that bullet out, correct?
Yes,
Do the same thing on the doghouse.
right.
Okay, wait 1 second. How about do me a favor and keep track of what the different angles are? Because I'll never remember when you get down here. So, if you step down, please. Okay, so does protractor work for you? It's got a little thing that allows you to, okay, if you take it and let's go from the quail, oh, here it is, small animal cage. And the projectile came in on this side over here, correct? Okay, so if you'll come over here for me, please. And put the projector in put the protractor against the, there you go. And how many degrees did that go?
41 degrees.
Okay, could you put that on 41 degrees?
41.
Okay, and could you take that line out for me, please? Is there a way for you to draw that? This is a pretty fine point Sharpie. I'm gonna hold this down if you'll draw that line for me, please. Okay, and let's go to the dog house. What was the degrees on that?
84.
Okay, 84 degrees. Okay, and how about draw a line for that for me, please, from the side of the dog house? Okay, now I'll take that easel now. Put that up there. Now, just it? Yeah. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. But if you look at the photographs and you look at, this. The feed room door is approximately right here, correct?
That's right.
Would you circle that with a red circle for me, please? And the trajectory on both these shots, so let's take the small animal cage. Did that come from anywhere near the feed room?
Doesn't appear to have been.
It would have been up, if you follow that out. Are you familiar with where that grapevine was? If you're looking at the feed room all the way to the right? Well, I think a little bit further up than that, but even maybe beyond that. One of the shots fired by that AR blackout was fired from somewhere way up here, correct? I mean, that's the trajectory.
Doesn't mean, I can't tell you the distance it was from the animal cage to wherever. I couldn't tell you where the feeder was within that line.
But that line is way away from the right?
Right.
And this one, while it's closer, it's still many feet away from the feed door.
Yes.
So as you saw this area right here that night, you assumed, I think not assumed, but everyone sort of concluded that it was a relatively close shot into the feed room that killed Paul, correct? 2 shots.
I believe so.
Okay. Now the AR, at least this line would indicate the AR was some distance away from the feed room when those 2 shots were fired, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now you recovered these projectiles. Were they tested for blood or tissue so that you could determine whether they passed through Maggie or just misses?
As soon as it to the lab.
You don't know whether they tested them or not. If I told you they didn't test them, would that surprise you?
No.
Okay. Now, does this lead you to believe, and you're someone that processes crime scenes, I mean, if this had been sketched out the night of the, I mean, you didn't take these measurements till a month later.
I took these measurements on scene the night of.
Oh, so you had these measurements.
Right.
But did you know the degrees?
No, that I didn't.
Until July 12th. But on July 12th, did anyone go back out and walk this line to see if maybe there's shell casings way up here. No one looked up there, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
And no one did a topographical study to indicate, if you follow these lines back, whether wherever the shooter could have been, were higher or lower than the doghouse or the small animal cage, right? But doesn't this indicate to you there were two shooters? There was a shooter up here and a shooter down here? Is it a possibility? Let me say that. Is it a possibility that there are two shooters based on the data you collected?
It just indicated it was movement. I mean,
Movement from here all the way up to here? But is it, I'm not telling you, I mean, one explanation would be movement, correct? One explanation would be two shooters. I'm sorry? Yes?
what's there?
No. But one explanation of the data would be two shooters. One explanation, not the, but one.
Not the only.
Yeah, not the only one, but it is a reasonable explanation, just like one shooter running up that way, correct?
Sure.
So one of the reasonable explanations is there are two people there, there are two guns there, one's a shotgun, one's an AR, and we now see that AR is being shot from way up here, correct?
It's somewhere along that line.
And that line goes a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen yards from the feed room, if you follow straight up.
I don't know where they were within that line.
Could someone have been a lookout there? They went there to kill Paul, and that's the lookout. Maggie surprised them. They thought she was gone.
How do I?
Reasonable though, right? Right?
I think it's already there.
I know you weren't there, but none of us were there. We're trying to figure out what happened that night. And clearly, one reasonable explanation is two shooters. One explanation.
What?
Right, and a number of them. I'd like to offer this to Evan. Yeah, it's not to scale. Keep comparing.
Talk to the court. I'm
I'm sorry. Your Honor, I'm offering this to Evan.
Says the state.
No objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead and take a stand with you. Thank you report on the doghouse shot. You testified it was 80-something degrees, right?
84 degrees.
It's not 90-something degrees?
I had 84.
Okay, let me show you defense exhibits 19 and 22. Are these the actual protractor measurements you did that?
Of the animal cage.
Okay, both of them are of the animal cage?
Yes.
Okay. And did you do the same measurements on the doghouse?
Yes.
What does that indicate?
You mean, what is this?
No, what is the angle based on that?
Can't really. $80-something.
Okay. You have in your notes, let me see what you have in your notes you recorded. And that's, where's your full report?
This is all the notes.
Yeah, I'm looking for the sketch though. Okay, where's the doghouse? What does the horizontal 96 degrees mean?
Not sure why that says 96.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure why it says 96 if I had 84.
In your crime scene notes?
That's right.
But you wrote down, your official report said 96 degrees.
My note said 84 degrees.
Well, did you just? The notes were taken at the scene?
Yes.
Okay, beg the court's indulgence. Let me say this to you. Based on your calculations, both of those shots came well to the right if you're facing the feed room, well to the right of where the feed room is, correct?
Thereabouts.
I'm sorry?
Thereabouts, yes.
Thereabouts? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
So I'm trying to look for some concise, you're a criminalist. You would agree with me that they did not come from the feed room or the
Right.
vicinity of the feed room, and they're literally yards away from the feed room, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to beat that horse anymore. So let's talk a little bit about footprints. Okay?
Okay.
So I noticed in your report, correct me if I'm wrong, that you were unable to identify, either exclude or include, a number of different footprints in and around the feed room, bloody footprints, and other footprints, because of the quality of the photography. Is that correct?
I was able to attribute them to Paul's shoes.
I'm sorry.
I was able to attribute them to Paul's shoes, though.
Well, we'll talk about Paul's shoes in just a minute. But when you, what's the process to take a photograph of footwear or imprint that's recognized by a number of different agencies, including the FBI? What's that process?
Place a scale, and preferably an L scale, around the impression and document it with the camera parallel to the surface so you get a straight on shot. Put the camera in RAW settings so you capture all the data with that photograph.
So let me ask you, so the process is, first of all, you take a general photograph of the impression, right? It's
Yes.
it doesn't matter what angle, doesn't matter what the lighting is at that point, correct?
If you're just documenting that it's there.
But when you go to take a photograph of a footprint for forensic analysis later on to compare it to a known shoe, you're supposed to do a couple things. One, you're supposed to have good lighting if you can get it, right?
Preferably.
Two, you're supposed to put a scale down next to it so that later on you can, because you need to understand how big or how small the foot is and the distance between the treads. So the scale's a little, like a little ruler, just a piece of a ruler that you put down next to it to get some idea what an inch looks like, what 2 inches look like. And that's really important, is it not?
It is, to make sure it's to scale.
Okay. And then you're supposed to do a photograph straight down on it with good lighting, so that you can you understand what you're seeing is a straight on impression, correct?
That's right.
Now, was that done on any of the impressions that y'all analyzed?
No, we didn't recognize on scene.
I'm sorry?
We didn't recognize on scene that there was footwear.
You didn't recognize on scene there was what?
Footwear impressions in the room.
Well, that brings up another topic. There was what may have been a footwear impression on Maggie's calf, correct?
I couldn't say that was a footwear impression, just an impression,
Well, there was something on her leg that could have been a footwear impression, correct?
possibly.
Possibly. And again, they didn't put a scale. They didn't do any of this procedure, correct?
That's right.
And it was in dirt.
Yes,
Or mud, one. And so once her body was removed from the scene, that examination could never be done, correct?
that's right.
Matter of fact, none of the impressions could be examined after the next day at best, correct?
Not physically.
Right. We couldn't go back out and take new photographs.
Right.
So the procedures followed were not the procedures recommended by every agency and your agency, correct?
If I had realized that was footwear on scene, I would have documented it properly, yes.
Okay. But since it wasn't documented properly, we can't include or exclude, except for Paul's, correct?
That's right.
Now, are you a certified footwear examiner?
Yes.
By who?
Well, within SLED, yes.
I'm sorry,
Within SLED.
within SLED, but you not peer reviewed or
Oh, yes, I am peer reviewed.
by somebody at SLED.
Yes.
Okay. And your analysis is that one set of those footwear impressions is Paul facing the back of the feed room, right?
Right,
And yet we know, and they're bloody, so he's already been shot.
right,
And we know the initial shot came buckshot, very small pattern, in his chest and came out underneath his left arm. Matter of fact, it was wadding under his left arm, and buckshot went through the back window and embedded in the windowsill. You documented that, right?
right.
And then I think some of it embedded in a tree back behind that window, correct?
I think, yes.
And he's facing backwards, bloody footprints. Has anyone discussed with you how he got faced away from where he was shot?
No,
Were the footprints smudged as if he was turning?
and there was blood dripping. He was stepping in the blood and leaving his own footwear impressions in the blood. I don't know that it was smeared necessarily.
Well, we also know that a second shot, literally his head exploded, his brain flew out. We know there's hair and blood over that door up high. There's actually hair and blood and pieces of his skull in the ceiling and around him. Assuming the first shot would not have been immediately fatal because it didn't hit any critical organs. He would have been alive for some period of time after that shotgun blast to the chest. But the second shot, as you've seen in the pictures, and you were there that night, wasn't his brain laying at his feet?
It was beside his left leg, yes.
I'm sorry?
It was beside his left leg, yes.
Yeah. And his feet are just, one of them is just inside the feed room and the other's not.
Yes,
And he's face down.
right.
So you can't explain how he got shot in the front when he's at some point soon thereafter is facing backwards.
Can't say which way he was facing when he was actually shot. The second shot, he was right there at the door. I can tell you that.
So he got from facing the back door after he was shot, I mean, the back window, to facing forward for the second shot. Is that right?
Right.
Has anyone from SLED briefed you on after you identified those footprints?
No,
They didn't ask for any explanation?
not for me, no.
Okay, and you would agree that because of the way the scene was processed, that most of the footprints you were unable to do any comparison to because of the way the pictures were?
No, I was able to do a comparison and they were mostly Paul's shoes.
Other than those two?
There was one right inside the door. There was one further to the left where the door was. Then there were at least two by marker one.
And correct me if I'm wrong, at least one of those bloody footprints initially identified as Paul's turned out to be a police officer's, isn't that correct?
It wasn't initially identified as Paul's, no.
But there was a bloody footprint near his that turned out to be law enforcement, correct?
Yes,
In the feed room,
right.
in blood. Is that preservation of the scene that your standards require?
Not exactly, no.
Not exactly. Should the police be walking through the scene?
No,
Do we know what other evidence they may have destroyed?
I have no idea.
That's right, we don't. Now, have you seen this photograph before? Can you identify it?
It's not one that we took.
But does it appear to be in the area you've been describing?
Close, yes. It's in the feed room.
So you don't know whose feet those are?
No.
Okay. Did you check other foot impressions in the feed room and exclude Paul?
No,
There were other bloody footprints or impressions in the feed room. Did you identify them as Paul's?
I thought I accounted for all the ones that we knew of.
Okay. Now, we look at offense exhibit number 2, and we need to cover the screens. So we've talked about this previously just a moment ago. I'm going to put it up here so we can blow it up. Okay, do you recognize this photo?
Yes,
Is that the way you saw Maggie that night?
it is.
Now, how about zoom in on her calf, right there. Yep. Now, somebody, even that night we see in notes, thinks that could be a footwear impression, or could be something else, correct?
I couldn't determine what kind of impression it was.
Okay. But you would agree with me, there is something on the back of her leg that has some sort of pattern in it.
It is, yes.
Okay. Not naturally occurring pattern.
Right.
And this is the only photograph you received that night, or you received ever, of Maggie's calf, correct?
That's not the photo I used at all.
I'm sorry?
That's not the photograph I used at all for my footwear examination.
What photograph did you use?
$420.
420? You got it? Okay, put that one up. And then we'll see if you can identify them. Is that 420?
Yes.
Okay. We'd like to offer photograph 420 into evidence, Your Honor.
No objection, we just asked to see the photo before it's offline.
It's admitted.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I don't have it. We'll get it. Do we have Holly, we got a hard copy of that? Thank you. We'll get it to you in just a minute. So could you come down here for just a second, please? Yes. How about point to the jury where that impression is on her leg?
This whole area right here.
And it has, if you blow it up, you can see some regular lines as opposed to irregular, right?
Yes.
Which would indicate some not natural, but when I say unnatural, man-made something caused that, correct?
There's a distinct pattern to it.
Okay. Now, why were you not able to get significant definition to compare it to a footwear?
I felt like I had enough definition. I just couldn't attribute it to any type of footwear.
Any type of footwear?
As far as any type of shoe, I wasn't able to attribute it to a specific type of shoe.
Okay, now, and you would agree with me, there's no scale.
Right.
There's no multiple pictures of this from different angles for the purpose of giving you the more definition so you could make a comparison, correct?
There's not.
So this was not done according to procedure.
I mean, I didn't know about this on scene.
Yeah, but as your photographers take pictures, aren't they, I mean, wouldn't it be good just to put down a scale no matter what?
If I had seen that, we would have.
But I mean,
Somebody had.
a lot of these photographs are taken without you present, correct?
No, I was there.
You were there for that photograph?
Yeah.
And did you notice the mud on her foot? Okay.
No.
But as you look at it now, you agree that a better photograph taken under the procedures of SLED and the FBI and everybody else could have given you a better ability to match it to a piece of footwear, correct?
I don't know that a better photograph would have given me better results. I think I saw enough of it to know I wasn't going to be able to attribute it to a type of footwear.
Without a straight on shot, without a scale, without all the things recommended.
I couldn't even say it was a footwear impression. I just called it
Based on that photograph,
yes,
which is not a photograph done to compare footwear.
not ideal. No,
Not ideal. It's not, the standards say that is not within the standards, correct?
Objection argumentative.
Can you answer the question?
Go ahead.
The question is,
The question is, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
you understand the question?
Yes,
What's the answer?
it would be better to take the photograph properly with scale.
But you would concede this was not taken pursuant, and what you're saying is no one appreciated the fact that it was a footwear or could be a footwear impression that night. So no one treated it like a piece of footwear.
Right.
But we know that same night, they didn't treat any suspected footwear according to procedures, correct? No scale, no multiple pictures, no 90-degree, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and take a stand. Did you participate in processing Alex's T-shirt, shorts, and shoes?
The T-shirt and shorts, yes.
Okay, and what did you do with that?
As far as the LCD,
Yeah.
we documented the entire process from start to finish starting with the packaging that the shirt was in. Took the shirt out of the package, photographed it front and back, inside and out to show how it was before we did anything to it. Then we hung it up and applied the LCV, which is a liquid spray. Any stains that we saw after using the spray, we documented those with photographs without scale, and then we photoed with the scale. Then we laid the shirt flat and photographed each of those stains on the shirt. It was stains A through H on the front and stains I and J on the back. We labeled those A through H, I and J with scale and photographed each one of them before we did anything else.
Let me show you a couple photographs.
Okay.
Can you identify these, please? Doug, 19A, please.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Is that the shirt as you saw it that night?
not that night, no.
When did you see it?
When we processed it at the lab.
Okay, so you would agree with me that this shirt it doesn't look like it just came back from the laundry. It's got smudges down here and generally stains here and there, correct?
Not completely clean,
Yeah, okay, well, that's it. It's not completely clean, correct?
right?
And then I'd offer that into evidence, Your Honor.
31.
Tell me what this is, please.
After we had sprayed the shirt with LCV, we laid it in a grid to account for where on the shirt each stain was.
And there seems to be something on the bottom that looks like a handprint, does it not?
I didn't see a handprint. That was on the body cam footage where he was wiping his face with the shirt right there.
Offer within that. Can I have that 19, I'm sorry, let me see what it is. What does it say at the bottom? KNM 3282. Okay, and we agree that you did this with LCV, right? That's what they call a presumptive test. It could be human blood. It could also be animal blood. It also could be detergent.
Objection, Your Honor. Could we ask one question at a time?
I'm trying to summary, but I'll do it.
Okay.
Could it be something other than something other than human blood?
It doesn't determine whether it's human or not.
Right. So it could be animal blood.
It's possible.
Could be detergent. Detergent oftentimes.
Bleach maybe.
Bleach. Okay. What about organic matter like plants?
The only two I know of really is bleach and rust.
Rust?
Right.
Okay. But there are other things that will, and that's why you do a confirmatory test.
Right.
And that's done with hemotrace.
I'm not sure how, I don't do that part. So.
Well, do you know what the results were when they treated it with hemotrace?
I'm not sure, no.
You never saw the report?
No.
No human blood found? Okay, now, did you test his shorts?
We did the same procedure with the short.
And there's some presumptive, I mean, some indication that it was human blood or something else, correct?
Yes,
Do you know whether they ran a confirmatory test on that?
I assume they did. I'm not
Did
sure.
you, well, but you don't know.
Right.
Do you know whether, did you use LCV on the shorts or did you use something else?
We used LCV.
Did you do the shoes?
No.
Let me put up on the screen. I'll give you a copy of it if she can identify it, okay? And I think she can. Go ahead and put it up. Go ahead and put it up. It's number 217. Can you see it?
Yes.
Not very bright. Is that a picture that you took?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, we'd offer this picture into evidence.
Okay.
Okay, could you step down here, please? So the angle, this is the doghouse. What's the angle on this?
Actually, 84, 83.
Yes, okay. Just want to make sure we all were on singing from the same sheet of music, even though you wrote down 96 in your report, correct?
In my diagram of that, yes.
Right, the official report, the
80.
official.
My official notes say 84 degrees.
But I'm talking about what we got, but I mean, we got your notes also, but in your printed document, you said 96.
On the diagram, yes.
Yeah. But it's only 84.
Right.
Okay, thank you. So, and again, maybe I need to check you on this, but the angle from the doghouse, you seem to indicate is going still to the right of the dog kennels. But, and let me check it out, just one second. Sure, I got this right.
Any further questions?
Your Honor, we keep that in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand for a moment.
Thank you, no further questions.
All right.
All right, Agent Curley. Let's see. Right, we saw this big diagram and then some other diagrams that you prepared. What was the purpose of you preparing all these diagrams?
Show for that one where the evidence was in relation to each other, where the victims were in relation to the evidence, where the kennels were and the workshop overhang, measurements, all the other diagrams, the doghouse, animal cage, were to show more measurements of where the bullet defects were.
Would those be done for reconstructive purposes?
That's right.
And was that really done here on this case?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And in this diagram, what? Defense Exhibit 29, we see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And what were those? What did those indicate?
Those were 300 blackout cartridge cases.
And this is not to scale, is that right?
No, not at all.
So what does that mean if something's not to scale?
It's not like an inch on there is not an inch in real life. It's just an approximation of where everything was in relation to each other.
So it may not correspond to the actual dimensions of things on the scene.
Right.
Now, are you aware that there was stippling on the victim, Maggie Murdaugh?
Yes.
And what does it mean if there's stippling on a victim?
Close gunshot. She was shot close range.
And the defense asked you about some different possibilities here. It's possible that people can move around,
Yes,
and it's also possible that one person could have had two guns.
that's right.
Then we talked a lot about footprints. Let's see here. In the feed room, was there a bunch of bloody footprints?
There were.
Okay. I'll show you. State's Exhibit 35. Are those the bloody footprints in the feed room?
2 of them, yes.
And those were determined to be the footprints of Paul Murdaugh?
Right.
And now, just to be clear, I mean, in this picture, we aren't seeing like 5 sets of other bloody footprints.
No.
So, you talked about some other footprints in the feed room. Could you kind of elaborate on that?
Closer to the door, there was one, and also closer to the door, the actual physical door, there was one, a partial impression.
And have you determined who those footprints belong to?
Those were consistent with Paul's shoes.
And is it possible that after SLED took some crime scene photos and moved Paul's body, that someone could have come in along later and stepped in?
Your Honor, we.
No, objection is overruled.
Is it possible that if there were more prints in there, that those could have been after SLED's pictures were taken?
Objection is overruled.
I suppose so, yes.
We also talked about footprints in states 194 and 195. Why couldn't you do anything with those footprints?
I was not made aware of those 4 impressions until June 15th, when I saw one of those photographs.
So you didn't take any of these pictures while you were out there at the scene?
No, it was on the other side of the workshop.
And we have no way to know when these footprints occurred.
Right.
Now, the defense showed us a picture of that dirt on the back of Maggie Murdaugh's leg. Do we even know if that's a shoe print?
No.
And taken by her.
As long as they were taking her.
Agent Farley, if you could please take a look at State's Exhibit 70 and 71. Could you tell us what those are pictures of?
These are pictures of the front of the ATV that was parked near Maggie's body.
Your Honor, the state removed 70 and 71 into evidence.
Okay.
Better without objection.
So if we look here at Defense Exhibit 9, can you point out where the ATV was there the night of the murders?
That photo was taken on July 16th.
But where were the photos or the ATVs on the night of the ATV on the night of the murders?
Under that overhang behind the doghouse.
This time I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 70. Where was Maggie Murdaugh's body in relation to this ATV?
Would be toward the right of the ATV.
So it was kind of in front of the ATV?
Yeah.
And did you observe any kind of biological matter on that ATV?
Yes.
In State's Exhibit 71, could you kind of point out or describe for the jury where you can see spots of biological matter?
Do you want me to step down?
Your Honor, may she step down?
Yes, unless she's going to indicate, it appears to be biological matter. Did she test, was it tested?
I have to hear the question before I can hear an objection.
Go ahead.
Agent Worley, if you could please point out for the jury where it would appear to be biological matter or tissue on that ATV.
Object to the question. I object to the response because it was never tested. It appears, and it could be deer blood. It could be a number of different things. This calls for speculation.
Objection is overruled.
These areas right here, a little there. I believe there was a little bit on this tire also.
Thank you, Agent Worley. That's all for this witness, Your Honor.
Further cross-examination.
Well, you would concede, I mean, if you saw that, but you not, I mean, it looked like blood.
Yes.
Did you test it for blood?
No.
Gather, swab something so you could take it back to the lab and see if it was Maggie's blood, Paul's blood, deer blood? I mean, they hunt in those ATVs, right?
I have no idea what they do in the.
You don't know if they hunt using ATV? Really? Is that one of the things you're aware that's done with those?
I am now, yes.
Okay. But the night you saw that blood, you didn't take a swab of it or whatever you thought with blood, didn't swab it.
No, it didn't.
As a matter of fact, there's a pool of water around Paul. Did anyone ask you to take a sample of that?
No.
Determine whether or not there was human blood in it?
No.
Okay. Now I'm looking at your shoe report. You specifically say on a number of these that the photograph is inadequate to do a comparison, right?
I was able to, my result was, it was adequate enough to determine outsole design. I
I'm
couldn't,
sorry, adequate to do what?
to determine the outsole design of the impression. I wouldn't have been able to identify it.
Okay, on Paul's, the ones you've already said he was facing backwards, did you say that you had partials and at one point you didn't know which way the foot was facing? Did you say that?
I'm not sure.
Did you come to any conclusions about any of the other, I mean, did you match his footwear to any of the other bloody impressions in that female?
Yes.
Which ones?
The one by the door, like right in front of the
What's
doorway.
the number of that?
105.1.
I'm sorry?
Item 105.1. Facing the doorway.
It says that the outsole design is consistent with item 103, Paul's shoe. So you also say that the way you got scale was, and some of these were evidence markers, and then you figured out how big the evidence marker was, and that's what you used to get to scale.
The marker and the shot shells at markers 9 and 10 were measured.
And that's not the best way to do it, is it?
No.
And in terms of the sketch we had, you do a pretty crude sketch, but have you ever been asked by SWED or the Attorney General's office to do this trajectory analysis that I asked you to do today?
No, but I don't necessarily do crime scene reconstruction.
Who does?
I'm not sure. We don't necessarily do that ourselves. We process crime scenes and document it, but we don't do reconstructions.
But no one has consulted with you about a reconstruction. No one's come from SWED and said, let's go over these angles, or, you know, how did you conduct this? Or nobody's asked you.
No.
Have you ever had a conversation with anybody from the Attorney General's office about this?
No, I don't think so.
Did they ever talk to you about the video we showed a little while ago, of the process y'all used to try to make a 3D?
Not with me, with others who rendered the Pharaoh software, the video.
They talked to people that did the Pharaoh?
Yeah, I believe so.
What?
I believe so, yes.
You know who that was and who they talked to?
No,
Do you know when that was?
not really, no.
So they'd have a 3D image of the crime scene, and you don't know when they got it or what they did with it. They never talked to you about it.
No.
Thank the court's indulgence. Thank you.
May sit down.
Raise your right hand, left hand on the Bible. Do you affirm the testimony about to give during this trial shall be the truth of God?
Yes, ma'am.
Take a seat in the witness stand. Say your name again for the record. Spell your last name.
Jeff Croft, C-R-O-F-T.
Special Agent Croft, how you doing today?
Doing well, sir.
So your beard's about as gray as mine is, isn't it?
Sir?
Your beard's about as gray as mine is.
Yes, sir.
Is that how you get to be a senior special agent?
I don't think so.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? Where are you from? And then tell us a little bit about your career in law enforcement.
I grew up in Baltimore County. I started my law enforcement career in the early 2000s as a reserve deputy with the Baltimore County Sheriff's Office. I got hired full-time, started on the road. I did road patrol. I then went to investigative services, investigations, where I worked narcotics and violent crime. In 2012, I transferred over to SLED, where I worked in the Low Country region in investigative services. I was assigned to this area for investigative purposes, working homicides, violent crime, financial cases, all sorts of stuff.
Okay. And how long have you been with SLED?
I'm going on 12 years.
Where were you assigned back on June 7th, 2021?
I was assigned to the Low Country region here in Colleton County.
And were you someone called out to respond to the reports of the 2 deaths at 4147 Moselle Road?
Yes, sir, I was.
About what time did you get a call, do you think?
I got called out on actually June the 8th, the morning of June the 8th, about 5:30 that morning.
Okay. And where did you go from there?
I was en route to the scene. I was rerouted to our field office here in Walterboro, and given instructions from there.
Okay. And having been given those instructions, what'd you go do to help the investigation? What's the first thing you did?
I located and interviewed Rogan Gibson.
All right. And did you have a conversation with Rogan Gibson?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you ask Rogan Gibson about whether or not he had phone communications with Paul Murdaugh the evening before?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you ask him whether he had phone communications with Alex Murdaugh the night before?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you ask him whether or not he had communications with Maggie Murdaugh the night before?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you ask to see Rogan's cell phone?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did he allow you to take screenshots of some of the records on his cell phone?
Yes, sir, he did.
All right. I'm going to show you very quickly what's been marked as exhibits 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, 171, and 172. And just generally tell me if you recognize those particular exhibits.
Yes, sir, these are the snapshots which I took of Rogan Gibson's phone.
Okay. Evidence exhibits, states exhibits 165 through 172, I believe, without objection.
They are admitted.
All right. All right, I'm going to put up on the screen states exhibit 165. And is this one of those images that we were just talking about from Rogan Gibson?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. And whose hand is that holding it up? Do you know?
That is Rogan Gibson holding the phone for me to take the picture.
All right. And was he manipulating the phone for you and then showing you when he found things and then you taking a picture of it with your phone?
Yes, sir, he was.
Okay. And does this reflect a incoming call from Paul at a particular time?
Yes, sir, it does.
What time does it reflect that call?
At 8:40 p.m.
All right. And this is going to be on June 7th, 2021?
That is correct, sir.
And how long does it reflect that call was?
Approximately 4 minutes.
4 minutes. I'm going to publish what's been marked as States Exhibit 166. And is this another screenshot that Rogan showed you from his communications with Paul Murdaugh that night?
Yes, sir, it is.
And does it show an incoming call from Paul Murdaugh to Rogan Gibson?
Yes, sir, it does.
And what time is that call?
8:44 p.m.
8:44 p.m.?
That is correct.
I'm going to show you next what's been marked as Exhibit 167 to your testimony. And is this another screenshot that was showed to you by Rogan Gibson from his communications with Paul Murdaugh?
Yes, sir, it is.
And were these some texts between the two of them?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. And does it reflect a text from Rogan to Paul on there?
Yes, sir, it does at
What time is that? I'm sorry, go ahead.
8:49 PM.
8:49 PM. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And can you read that text very quickly?
See if you can get a good picture of it. Marion wants to send it to a girl we know that's a vet. Tell him to sit and stay, and he shouldn't move around too much.
All right. Does it reflect any response from Paul?
It does not.
All right. What is the next communication on this particular exhibit?
It's a little got glare on it. I can't, it looks like 9:58 PM.
All right. I'm going to bring the exhibit up because I know our Elmo's not working great. I'm still working on that, but let me actually have you look at it. So we said there was that communication to Paul from Rogan, and then you said there was no response. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Then next thing is Rogan sends a text. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
What time is that text?
9:58 PM.
9:58. What does he say?
Yo. Y-O, yo.
I'm going to put up on the screen State's Exhibit 168. Can you see that all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And does this reflect a number of outgoing calls from Rogan to Paul, trying to get him to answer?
Yes, sir, it does.
Can you tell the jury the times, starting at the bottom, that he's trying to call Paul Murdaugh without an answer?
At 9:10 PM, there's a 2-second outgoing call. At 9:29 PM, there's a 1-second outgoing call. At 9:42 PM, there's a 1-second outgoing call. And at 9:57 PM, there's a 4-second outgoing call.
All right. I'm going to put up on the screen State's Exhibit 169. And does this also reflect an outgoing call from Rogan to Paul that is unanswered?
Yes, sir, it does.
And what time was that?
10:08 PM.
All right, we're now looking at State Exhibit 170. I'm gonna bring it up, tell you real quick. Who does this reflect communications with, between Rogan Gibson and who?
Mrs. Maggie Murdaugh.
All right, let me go publish this real quick. So it's from who?
Miss Maggie Murdaugh.
All right, and Rogan sends her a text, is that correct?
Yes, sir, he does.
What time does he send that text?
9:34 PM.
And what does he say?
Tell Paul to call me.
I'm gonna publish what's been marked as State's Exhibit 171. Can you see that all right?
Yes, sir, I can see the time, but can't see the top of it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and who are these communications from on Rogan Gibson's phone?
Mr. Alex Murdaugh.
The defendant?
That's correct.
All right, and were there missed calls from Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, sir, it is.
And can you tell the jury what times those were?
At 10:21 PM and at 10:24 PM.
And then finally, State's Exhibit 172. Are these additional missed calls on Rogan's phone or outgoing, missed calls?
Yes, sir, it's missed calls.
And who are they from?
I can't see the top from that.
Sorry.
Mr. Alex Murdaugh.
Okay. And what time were these missed calls from Alex Murdaugh to Rogan Gibson?
10:25 and 10:30 PM.
Did you ultimately interviewed Rogan Gibson, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
Without going into what he said, he told you what his communications and what he did that night and all the rest of it, is that right?
Yes, sir, he did.
Was there anybody with you when you interviewed him?
Yes, sir, it was.
And who was that?
Special Agent Katie McAllister.
Katie McAllister?
Yes, sir.
Did you take a buccal swab from Rogan Gibson?
Yes, sir, I did.
And tell the jury just really quickly, what is a buccal swab?
Buccal swab is used to get a DNA standard or a known standard that can be used by our lab to compare to potential other evidence. It's a cotton swab, which we use on the inside of the cheek.
very non-intrusive. Once we get it, we seal it. And with evidence tape, it's transported to our lab for our lab's use.
Okay. One second. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State Exhibit 154 and see if you recognize this document.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Tell me what that is. Tell the jury what that is, please.
It's a chain of custody form that we used when we secured the buccal swab from, or buccal swab from Rogan Gibson.
All right. Put that up on the screen. And so right there, is that where it says what it is?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And whose signature is that right there?
That is myself.
And then whose name and signature is that right there?
Melinda Worley, Special Agent Melinda Worley.
Okay. After you had that interview with Rogan Gibson, what's the next thing you did in the case? Assist the investigation.
I went back to the scene where I briefed Senior Special Agent David Owen and the others that was assisting with the investigation. I was asked to go to the residence, the Murdaugh residence, which was down from the kennels.
All right. And what was going to be your goal in going to the residence?
I went to the residence to secure any firearms or ammunition, spent shell casings of that nature that would be potentially compared to or similar in nature to what was at the scene.
Did you go by yourself? Did you go with the team?
It was myself, Anthony Sampson, and Katie McAllister, both of which are special agents.
All right. What was your particular role or to this team? What was going to be your main job and why you were picked to be on this team to go in the house looking for firearms evidence?
I have some knowledge of firearms and ammunition, and my main duty was to attempt to locate any firearms that were capable of firing similar ammunition that was at the actual crime scene. Any spent shell casings that would be similar in nature that could potentially be tested back to a firearm if one was located or tested in comparison to the casings which were at the scene.
Had you been advised by other investigators what types of weapons or what ammunition had been used to murder Maggie and Paul?
Yes, sir, I did.
And can you tell the jury what you had been advised?
I'd been advised that it was a 12 gauge shotgun used, capable of shooting 3-inch Magnum. I was also advised that there was a 300 blackout rifle, or excuse me, it's an AR rifle chambered for 300 blackout.
12 gauge and 300 blackout.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Bear with me one second. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 160 to your testimony and see if you recognize that particular disc.
Yes, sir, I do.
Tell me what that disc is.
It's a disc of my body worn camera recording from the day of the house entry.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 159. See if you recognize this particular exhibit.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and what's on that?
This is, again, a recording of my body worn camera for the house entrance.
All right, and why are there two recordings of body cams? Why do we have two instead of just one?
After the initial entrance to the residence and some initial items being secured, I stepped outside to speak to the investigative team, which was up at the kennels. And then I walked back in the house. While I was outside, I noticed some items on the ground that needed to be secured. So I walked back in the house, got Anthony Sampson, Special Agent Anthony Sampson, to accompany me outside to collect those items.
And what were those items? I'm going ahead and let's jump ahead. What were those items you ultimately collected out there?
It was 300 blackout shell casings, which appeared to be weathered at the bottom of the stoop, entered to the entrance of the what I call the gun room, and in the flower bed on each side.
All right, and when you say cases or casings, during what we're talking about, what is a case or a casing as opposed to the whole cartridge? Can you explain that to the jury, please?
Cartridge case is once ejected from the weapon, once it's fired. It houses the powder, the primer, the bullet on the end, which is the projectile, which leaves the end of the barrel. It's basically just the housing that holds the firing mechanism in a shell or in a casing.
And in a semi-automatic weapon, once the bullet is fired, what happens to the casing?
In a semi-automatic weapon, it is ejected.
It's ejected.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if nobody picks it up, it stays right there on the ground, doesn't it?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this time I'd move State's Exhibit 159 and 160 into heaven.
Your Honor, we don't object to the video of either one. And there's one longer video that's in the House. I don't know if 159 and 160 that we would object to the audio portion being played. And
Your Honor, I'm going to play that particular video with the audio down because there is discussion with other witnesses who will testify who were in the House. And so that's acceptable to the state for that particular exhibit.
Mr. Griffin?
yeah, that's acceptable.
All right.
As long as there's no hearsay from the witnesses.
You said the audio is down, so it's admitted under those conditions.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, so Special Agent Croft, since we don't have audio on this, we might just kind of narrate it for the jury while things are happening, okay?
All right, sir.
All right, let's do that. All right, what's happening right now?
We are walking up to the side door of the residence, which enters the gun room.
And just real quick, we see that side stoop right there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What was found right there, if anything, by that stoop?
300 blackout casings.
Is that what you just were talking about?
Yes, sir, it is.
Right there, huh?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Who is that individual right there? Do you know?
Attorney Lee Cope,
Who's talking to him?
Special Agent McAllister.
I'm gonna move it forward, going in the house a little bit. Where are we now?
We are inside of the residence at 4147 Moselle Road in the gun room.
Who are you shaking hands with right now?
That would be Attorney Mark Ball,
All right, who's getting their hands shook right now?
Mr. Attorney Ronnie Crosby.
Now, you mentioned Lee Cope and Mark Hall and Ronnie Crosby. Who are those individuals? What, if anything, is their relationship with Alex Murdaugh?
They are law partners were law partners with Mr. Alex Murdaugh at PMPD.
Do you know what Alex Murdaugh did for a living?
He was a trial lawyer, and he also was a prosecutor for the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office under Solicitor Duffy Stone.
And what does the prosecutor do?
They try cases for the state.
Criminal cases.
Criminal cases for the state, yes, sir.
That's what he did.
That is correct.
I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit. What's that sort of in the center of the screen right there?
It's a gun cabinet or gun shelf.
What's going on right now?
Special Agent McAllister is explaining why we are there, kind of what we're looking for, and gaining consent to search that area.
Was consent ultimately obtained to search?
Yes, sir, it was.
So that's me pausing it. Guys, I think what we'll do, since we do have our new trial start and they are still currently in jury selection, I know a lot of people want to be split between both rooms. But since this trial is a rewatch trial, we will start back over with the video that we have starting on day 4 for the Alex Murdaugh trial. And we will kind of do our school shooting trial. So I'm going to end this stream and it'll take us directly over to the school shooting trial where they're currently in jury selection. Hopefully we'll get some opening statements today. That'll be nice. And then we'll get back to our Alex Murdaugh when we have some downtime between our cases, guys. Um, yeah, we just used Alex Murdaugh as a buffer just in case we didn't have a case this morning, but looks like I didn't think we were gonna have be able to see jury selection. It's a fascinating process if anybody doesn't know, where they ask the questions and they see if they can sit on the jury. So yeah, guys, I think you should come over and watch. If not, then we will continue with our Alex Murdaugh coverage. Most likely it won't be into the weekend because we'll be covering this trial. It's supposed to last at least a week. All right, guys. I'll see you out here.